Welcome back to Australia. It's the second round of the 2022 Australian Disc Golf Championships. From Queensland, it's Grant Zellner and Jennifer Allen. Back nine coverage of the FPO division, where things are very, very tight at the top.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful course here at Tunnel Ridge Ranch. This is a private property that we are allowed to play the championships at. Sarah and I have jumped up to share the lead, and Cassie right there, as well as Hussey right behind. This is a nice tight race for this championship.
Gina Hill and Tusha Frequin rounding out the field here in Australia. And once again, my apologies if I put the wrong accent on the wrong name.
Yeah, Tosh. We have hole number 10. This is 436 feet. Plays as a very long hyzer, probably pushing, that distance for par 3 for the women on getting that drive all the way there. But have to get past this nice low branch, and that's a little bit more of a mind play off the tee because the ground does dip and come up there. So missing that branch, you want to get out there nice and straight. There is an OB fence along that back tree line.
Huss up and to the left. Now Sarah Lee.
Maybe just a hair shorter where she wanted to go, but that's about the area of target. I'm getting a little more angle on this because I pushed that OB line yesterday that I didn't know about. So cut it in a little too tight. I changed disc and get caught up there on the trees. Cassie kind of doing what I did day one, but keeps a good turn and gets a nice long drive around the corner. She'll have a really long circle 2 putt for birdie. I am just laying up. How you want all layups to be, nice and close.
No stress. That's the point.
No stress. Hussey says I can do that too. Let's see if we go 3 for 3 here. Nice, simple golf,
No doubt about it.
Cassie says, I want to join the party. And we take our threes and move on, right? Oh, this one, there was a little bit for, yeah, she gets it. There we go. I was going to say, she had to work a little harder than the rest of us, but she is great putt in there for the par.
Cassie keeping pace. Oh, that was dirty.
That was.
I saw the wind come up just ever so slightly right as she went into her sort of downswing. And I thought to myself, ooh.
And these baskets really catch pretty well. You just have to hit them hard and in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
This is hole number 11. This is a 600-foot par 4. There's a gate right there. That's a pretty good landing zone for the second shot. That takes the basket up the hill and to the right. OB fence behind the basket there, as well as the pond to your left, and everything on the right side of that fence is also OB. So anywhere uphill, right around there is safe. It's a pretty good landing zone. You just have to watch the elevation on the second shot. I'm trying to make corrections from day one, so I keep it super short and
That's right. You went long and OB down there by the camera operators on day one.
Yeah,
so.
And I thought day one was absolutely perfect. So I'm trying to still make some corrections, still get used to the tee pads. Cassie gets a beautiful flight on this one, right at that fence. That's what we're aiming at. Unfortunately, sometimes when you hit that target, it makes for a little bit difficult footing and swing on the second shot.
We've talked about that. There are not very many level lies here on the entire property. Even holes that are generally pretty flat, the ground in between is sort of undulating everybody's ankles getting sort of a workout and having to flex a lot and stuff.
Yeah, Tunnel Ridge is the name of it. It could easily be called Rolling Ridge. There's just beautiful rolling hills. It's definitely up there as one of my most favorite courses. I really think it's kind of my favorite course right now. I'm going to put it as number 1.
Wow.
It's just fun to play. Like, I love the layout. The design that the boys did is really good. There's not too many changes I would ever make. It's fun to play. I think maybe the men felt like it was a little easy, but maybe for the female layout, I thought it was excellent.
Overturns that one, does Cassie, but should be safe down there with a relatively open view of the hole.
Yeah, par 4, nice open shot at it. Sarah gets great height and angle, gets that to stick. Oh, it went a little long too. Camera guy, watch out. It's hard for them to see that. They're looking straight through, and when those discs come right at them, they cannot see it. Cassie and Hussey both with great layups.
Little sort of half go for you.
Yeah, I gave it a little. Tapping in our pars and our little Twinkie outfits. We're going to wander off.
One of you guys is like a photo negative of the other one.
So we actually did a picture like that. I don't know if you saw it. PDGA did share it. I brought in my gymnast background and I did a handstand so we could be Twinkies.
I did see that picture,
Yeah.
and now I get the joke. At the time,
Yeah.
I thought just the joke was you standing funny. Now I get it. On to the 12th.
Yeah, this is our par 5 of the course, 807 feet, all OB the entire way on this right side. So playing left is smart. You do see the incline of the hill that's going to pull you to that OB line. Basket placed on the other side of the hill. I'm just going destroyer off the tee, trying to get open and left. Makes for a nice, good second shot. I get a little skip and roll, I think.
Sort of a trade-off there. You can go a bit further up the hillside to the left, but then you might have a few more trees to deal with.
Yeah, depending on where, as long as you don't land right beside a tree on the left, it kind of allows for a good hyzer downhill back at it. So adds a few extra feet, but gives a better angle for the second shot. Hussey in good placement there.
Yeah, a couple of nice drives there, just right up the chute.
I think for the most part, typically we all executed placements very well. You know, if we got off the tee clean, we landed where we wanted to. There's a lot of placement areas on this, even on some of the par 3s. And you'll see a lot of us landing in the same place multiple times because that was the best way to go for our second shot.
Sarah Lee showing a little versatility in the game with the forehand hyzer up and over. Now Cassie.
Yeah, that was kind of a little bit of a pull and a very flippy disc, and unfortunately that headed straight out of bounds.
Oh.
And that one straight into the tree. So a little bit of a hiccups there.
That was a narrow gap that Huss was trying to hit with power. Given a second chance, executes that one beautifully up there on the hillside. To your point, a nice angle down to the basket.
And with that nice open
Woo.
air in front of me, I'm able to get a lot on that one.
Man, big snap out of the hand on that one. You could hear it all the way from here.
That's like time warping, isn't it?
Yeah, man, that's time warping and distance.
Sarah tries to execute the same. We're trying to get on that left side so we can see the basket for the very last approach shot. Cassie taking that a little bit further back because of the OB rules. If you take that OB penalty stroke, you can go further back. So those huge logs were laid right in her footing.
Ooh.
So she decided to take that back a little bit further than where she went out of bounds. Hussey going with a beautiful hyzer line at the basket. Perfectly executed.
A little hot there.
Yeah, a little bit of adrenaline rush. That downhill comes in quick. It's funny that that forehand really is our go-to play for this approach shot. I went down good skip, so I'm with inside jump putt for an eagle, which I didn't really realize it was an eagle until afterwards. I was like, oh, wow. Could have gave that a little bit stronger bid, I guess.
And once again, you get some idea of the topography here. So many of these baskets are on the hillside. Camera angle like this doesn't really do justice to just how undulating the ground is here. But from that other angle, you could see just how up and down this Tunnel Ridge Ranch property is.
A couple of good par saves from Sarah and Hussey. That is a triple bogey, unfortunately, for Cassie. And I get the tap in birdie.
We're at the 13th.
Yeah, this is a tee pad that we are actually teeing from out of bounds on the right side of that fence. OB volleyball court there to your left, and this is a very steep downhill 315-foot par 3. I choose the OB flight the entire way.
So this is all out of bounds. Oh.
Yeah, and I try to be a little aggressive, but
come on.
Just wait. The course owed me from day one. I had some bad luck day one, so that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good roll right there. I'll take it.
You really did have some bad luck on day number one. That's not an exaggeration. So yeah, the course owes you. Here's the more traditional route here on 13.
That's how they draw it up, but this actually goes really long as well.
Wow, that one just kept going.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt with that turnover. Turnovers, I have to glide a Mako, and sometimes if that wind, and you can see we have a lot more wind today, you get wind underneath the mid like that, and they'll fly forever, just like a paper plate or a kite. So I feel like going the left side is just as risky as taking that right side OB line. That's a great roll right there. That one's to our favor. But Cassie and I like this hyzer line at it, and it's definitely risky if you hit any of these trees. Typically, they can drop you out of bounds. Cassie went in a little early as well. And I cannot remember.
Down in bounds by...
Look at that. That deserves a clap.
2 feet? Yeah.
Maybe a foot. Good roll for us there. We got lucky. Unfortunately, I let that go a little early.
I like seeing the forehand working into the game, though. I think that's key.
It felt really good. I was very accurate on my line. That was the Cayman. Ooh, go in. Great putt. I did the Cayman there again, but I not practiced them with such a steep downhill. I didn't know how much to put on it. It's a really steep hill there.
Yeah, that is weird.
So Hussey laying up for her bogey with the out of bounds volleyball sand.
Big putt.
Huge putt. Great putt for Sarah. Big birdie. Run it back.
Why not? Ching.
Yeah, just right in the heart of it.
Really have enjoyed watching Sarah's game, have heard of her, have seen some of her other performances. It's interesting watching how she really finesses her way around a course.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned in our first round coverage. Like, it's interesting. Good par save for me there. It's interesting. They just throw the disc a little bit slower, and you see a more beautiful glide on all of their throws. I don't know why we throw it so much harder in America. Like a power trip thing. I don't know. But it's really fun to watch them throw the disc. More technique, more, smooth release. Excellent putters. It was fun getting over there playing with new FPO players.
Back to a par 4 at the 14th.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to contend with on this. We have the pool over there on the right side, Mando tree there on the left, and OB fence all along that right side coming up the hill. A little bit of a cross headwind for us today. Again, the tee pad's very short. We need that to hyzer up quick.
Down it goes.
Yeah, she catches the tree inside the fence area. I caught the tree past the fence area yesterday, but with this wind today, I'm trying to turn over my TL. But this is a scary shot for me because that Mando tree comes in really quick for me. But I'm able to, get it to stop just short of that tree.
So you'll have to wrap something around it just a little bit and get back uphill to the basket. The wind coming up just as the disc leaves Cassie's hand.
Yeah, she is safe over there, though, so she's going to have a long hyzer approach. So, yeah, the hill comes up right at the back of that tee pad, so we really don't have a lot of extra running space on this one. So getting your timing and your footing right on a lot of these tees was a little difficult. Tricky, scary second shot for
awkward
Sarah.
Awkward for sure. Had to release that so high.
Yeah, she's
in relation
short.
to
That's
her
a tall
shoulders.
fence. Yeah.
It's weird.
Don't want to hit your hand. Beautiful second shot by Cassie, getting her up there for a birdie look. Need that to hurry and turn. These OB lines just sneak up so quick. She's able to dig in the grass and stay safe on that one. Going putter, and it just glides forever and catches that wind like a kite.
But you're not out of bounds.
That road is safe. I was shocked that it was. So, little sigh of relief there for me.
That's okay. You haven't known what was out of bounds and not out of bounds
Exactly.
all weekend long. You're good, Jen.
I'm going with the play it dumb card.
Yeah.
You know, just play it as it lies. Oh, such a great bid for the birdie 3. I will say this footing was a little weird. There was a really loose gravel. But I did not fall.
Also, once again, a putt that looks at initial glance to be relatively flat, but really, it's a little downhill, it's a little side hill, everything.
Yeah. Lots of elevation changes out here.
Even the subtle ones really making a difference. Plus, as you mentioned a lot on round number 1, probably because you experienced it so much, a rollaway possible on probably, 15 of the 18 holes here?
Easily, yeah, for sure.
Even the relatively flat ones have enough slope.
Yeah, there's only, I think that's hole 5 that's just like super flat. We did see a beautiful long python on that hole.
Oh,
3?
wow.
I think? Yeah. This is hole number 15, 522-foot par 3 OB fence all along that right side. So if you want to be aggressive and try to the distance off the tee here. You're going to play along that OB fence. Everything, there's some rough on the left side, but it is safe. So I missed my tree.
Smoked.
Yeah, missed the tree that I caught day one. And I land in that little bushel. Cassie trying to
stand up.
Yeah, she gets great glide on it with that turn. Nice slow hyzer to get extra distance on it.
Jennifer Allen, you have been outdriven.
Absolutely. That was such a huge drive by Cassie. But you can tell, like, the arm speed is different. They just glide a disc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't use the stable disc quite as much as we do. Hussey gets a lot of distance on it, and that's a totally fine shot down there. She's in the little bit of a kind of river area if there was water. That comes out a little early for Sarah. She was trying to get a turn on it, but it still came out early. So she's going to be caught up there on that right or left side. I'm sorry.
Pretty obstructed here.
Yeah, this makes for a very difficult par 3 when you're this far back with an awkward footing. But she gets a.
Oh boy, even with that.
Yeah, it was about as clean as she could get it off. Just got hung up on that last tree.
Even with that, that was a great shot.
Hussey gets her hyzer right up there to the basket. Little bit of a roll.
That's a putt like the one you had yesterday.
It is. Hopefully she doesn't get the spit I did.
Oh,
and
boy.
I don't touch my disc in here thinking I don't want to put my hand in this pile. I go to putt, and Cassie's like, did you look at that branch to make sure there wasn't a snake? And I was like, oh, my God. So they don't show me quickly jumping out of that pile of trees.
It is Australia, and there are stories.
Yes. And so it very, just the next morning we saw that huge snake just, less than 1,000 feet from that little area. So there's a lot of snakes out there, I'm sure. And very good sit on that putter.
Yeah, it stayed there.
Taking my time on that putt since the previous day the basket and I had a disagreement.
PDGA Event Support Helpline.
Hey, I was wondering if I could add some rules to my tournament to make it a little unique.
Sure. You just need a waiver from the Director of Event Support.
Okay, great. An island green?
Shouldn't be a problem.
And elevated baskets?
Yeah, we get those all the time.
Oh, and forehands only?
Sarah, we've been over this.
Sorry. But I don't see why we can't try it. Everyone loves forehands. Like, you can go right, you can go left, you can throw straight, you can throw high, you can throw low.
When the shots fire, my soul ladies, yeah. If it go down, I might cause a scene, yeah. Them scheme, them go to sleep, yeah. They don't wanna come war with me, yeah. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run.
The 16th, a par 4 at 486 feet.
Yeah, huge dog leg again to the right. You're going to try to get your first shot around that area that we just flew over. Second shot getting up here, up on another little ridge. So another across, up a hill, down a hill, and around the corner.
You have quietly opened up a 3-throw lead over Sarah, and you've placed that right at the corner.
Yeah, a little bit further than day one, but a little more angle on the second shot. Sometimes those angles help, though. Sometimes throwing a straight putter shot is difficult, so we'll see if I can execute the second shot a little better than day one. Cassie getting great distance on that, making the corner for her second shot.
Oh,
This was, yeah, she's going to trick you
Huss
out.
tricked me. Boy, that looked like a...
She does it every time. There's so many times we flinched all week long. We all did a better job today on making the correction from day one with this tee pad. We all released it kind of early. Not early, but low.
Right.
This was the tee pad that you have to kind of step up, and the timing is just weird on the release. But we corrected from day one. Got a little more height underneath our disc. Huge, beautiful second shot. Needed to hyzer back, and it was trying. It just got hung up on that very last branch. Hussey with a nice open fairway to get up there. She's going to be circle 2 for birdie.
Little short. This is another one of those holes where the ground sort of comes up to meet the disc.
Yeah, and like Cassie's down, but she was on a down angle, throwing up over a small hill. I mean, her footing was absolutely horrible.
Yours is much better.
Some log, yeah.
It's not a snake.
Not a snake. I believe
that's dirty.
My Toro, so I could really just crank on it. My Toro flies like a Firebird, so great approach shot. Cassie has that beautiful soft touch approach she's so accurate with. Sarah getting a good upshot as well. I think that was MVP. She's going to fake you out on her putt too, Grant.
I know. My eyes kept dancing up to watch the flight. I do that too. I just don't do it with a disc in my hand. So
yeah,
it's the disc in the hand that gets me.
I would be so afraid of letting go.
I would too. I trust that if I practice it and made it part of my routine like Huss does, of course I wouldn't, but
so that is unfortunately 3 bogeys in a row for Sarah. Let's see with the par. I'm going to finally correct the mistake of yesterday, get my birdie, and Cassie's tapping out for par as well. So she's got a nice string of pars going on that back one. We're at hole number 17. This is a 249-foot straight downhill island par 3. Outside of that road is our line, so we can be on that circle drive.
Oh, that's left.
Playing that out to the right, and I do not get it over. That Toro says, see ya. Going straight out of bounds.
There you go. That's it.
That's the release angle that you need. A lot slower, beautiful accuracy.
There we go. All right,
Yeah.
no problem.
Beautiful drive by Cassie.
This is going to sound like a weird observation. That road seems to be almost grabby, if there is such a thing.
It
like
is rough.
Like it's
a
rough, so it doesn't.
It is. It was not smooth like sidewalk concrete like you're thinking. Yeah, it had some little gravel in it. That's a beautiful
Look at
turnover.
this.
Yeah, perfect executed shot by Sarah. That's the speed you want coming into that. So this is from the drop zone, and I say I will take my bogey.
Yep, it is, as we pointed out yesterday, the only elevated basket on the property. Not that some of the side hill placements aren't sort of
Right.
elevated depending on your angle, but this one,
And it's crazy what a couple feet will do. You get a crosswind, you can bounce off and hit anything right there and roll.
do like that. Nope, it's settled.
Oh,
Good.
stayed. Yeah. So great birdie for Sarah after a rough little stretch of holes. Claire and I are going to tap out these bogeys, and Cassie tapping out her par. So even though short hole, it can sneak up and get you, and it's definitely a great, it can be a great swing hole. We had a couple strokes there. And we are to the end of round number 2.
The 18th, a finishing par 4 at 400 feet.
Yeah, around that Mando tree there on the left, all OB fence here with the gallery on the right. Extreme downhill to the left, and as I found out round 1, that is also an OB fence back behind.
So Sarah Lee with the honors, coming off of that birdie at the 17th.
Yeah, and she just plays for that safe placement over there on the right side, trying to get all the way up the hill for the second shot.
Cassie well placed around the Mando into one of the more open areas there at the doglegs corner.
Yeah, perfect placement around that Mando. Needing that into hyzer.
Oh!
Little kiss off the OB fence.
Off of the barbed wire. Well, it may not be barbed at that particular juncture, but
I
that's a
caught the
wire
pole.
fence, and you caught one of those.
Yeah. So Hussey did the exact same shot as round 1, but this time she did just barely cross that Mando line. She was right at the line day 1. Sarah having a tough angle, trying to get up and around that Mando tree. That's a hard standstill shot. So Hussey taking it back from the drop zone. And again, you can see, like, that's a very difficult shot. We got a lot of crosswind. But that approach is really difficult from that angle. I found, after a few times playing it, I really like where Cassie's at, or even a little bit further down. So really trying to hyzer that first drive to where you have a little more of an uphill hyzer shot at it versus straight.
Even that one drifts down a little bit. But I see what you mean. If you can get low enough where you can spike the disc in there.
And so I try to keep it a little bit closer, and I just keep bouncing off the poles.
Okay, yesterday and today, the course and you, I think we're even. Even
I'm just
Steven.
Bouncing everywhere. Yeah, I do. I claim fairness now.
Ooh, that was a nice little buzzing the tower.
Yeah. It's just so difficult to stay up there. And you can see right here, just that steep, steep hill. So if you're laying up, you want to lay up, and you want to do like Cassie did and just kind of land there to the side of the basket. I tried to fully commit. I felt like I was putting pretty well today.
Whoa!
So
Look at that.
I just threw it into that wind. I was trying to tell myself hard and high. So I clearly doubled the distance.
Seriously?
Whatever, you know.
Somebody in the gallery reacted just like I did just now. Just, come on. That was good. That might have been Drew. I'm not sure who that was.
Well, he might have been playing, but
He might have been playing by this point in the round.
yeah, it definitely. If you're going to double the distance of your putt, you better make it. But that wind was just so strong here on this last hill.
Yeah, it was really howling, and it's a sort of a crosswind, at least the angle that you're coming in on.
It is, and it's like you have to commit. So when you commit, you just really pop that wrist hard.
That was a committed putt right there.
Yeah, and she just squeaks another one just right over the cage. That tailwind sucked it down, but she was able to get it over. This is still not an easy putt for Sarah.
No,
She
it's not.
Hits it just right in the sweet spot.
I think Sarah Lee and Drew Gibson shop for hats at the same hat store.
Drew picked up his actually at the Steve Irwin Zoo. So he's got
Really?
an Australian
They
hat,
both
yeah.
look great. A quick look at our card For the back nine here, Jennifer, you opened up a 4-stroke lead there during the course of that 9 holes. The overall leaderboard stands just like this. We'll have the exact same foursome for our continuing coverage. Round 3 coming out shortly here with the PDGA and our partners at Gatekeeper. For Jennifer Allen, Grant Zellner saying thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.